There we go. So, well, hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to try to go as smooth as possible because I want to give people a lot of time for questions at the end. So if you're just joining us and this is your first time, sort of how we do this is I'm going to go over ICAP, just a quick overview. So I apologize if you've already heard this, but I want to make sure that everybody has some information, and we do have some new people joining us. And then I'm going to go into, I'm going to break down a little bit of the ICAP requirements one by one. We'll go into a little bit more detail there, and then we will talk about the different resources that are available to meet that in-service learning and workplace environment requirement. We do have a chat box. And so I will do my best to try to address the questions as we go through the presentation, but I will have a portion at the end for questions. So if it's a question that just can't wait, go ahead and put it in the chat box, but I may or may not address it until the end, just so that we have time to get through the presentation. So my name is Marissa Lightsey. I'm the Executive Director for College and Career Readiness here at the State Department of Ed. My role is providing technical support to ICAP and helping schools implement this new process. I love to connect different school districts and different community members. If you are interested in doing anything cool and innovative with your ICAP process, of course, this is something that is new, and so there are no wrong answers. And so if you have any really great ideas or any burning questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I will have my contact information available at the end. So real quickly, what is ICAP? ICAP is an individual career and academic planning process. It takes multi-years to do this work and multiple people. And so this is not just a checklist. This is not something that we just want to add to the graduation checklist process. This is an opportunity for students to go through a streamlined career development process and start asking the questions of, what am I interested in? What exists in the world of work that connects with my interests, and what are the ways that I can get there? And so that's, of course, an ongoing conversation, ongoing questions, but really, we're not expecting students to get down to the answer before they've graduated high school or even by the time they've graduated high school. But we want students to go through a process of career development because that is something that they are going to use throughout the entire adult life. So of course, the vision is to make sure that students have an opportunity to create a plan that's going to reflect their individual passions and skills. So here are the requirements for ICAP by state law. And so if you've seen a copy of legislation, you've more than likely seen these. And so I just captured those pieces there. So the first piece is that students must take a career and college interest survey. They have to write and update their post-secondary workforce goals. They have to include an intentional sequence of their courses. They also must update their academic progress in those courses. They have to include scores on college and career ready assessments. So those being any of their spring exams that they take, or the ACT or SAT exams that they take as well. They have to have at least one experience in service learning and or work environment. And so we'll get into these. So I did want to give an opportunity to talk about the roles and responsibilities for ICAP. Of course, your teams are going to look very different from school to school. One thing I'll say is that we've had time to kind of do this work with about 74 pilot districts across the state, representing 134 school sites, anywhere from elementary all the way to high school. ICAP is, it's bigger than just a career development process for students. What many of you may have already noticed now, if you're trying to implement that in your school, is that this is a process that is going to take multiple stakeholders and multiple team members to be able to pull this off. So this is very different. So for those of you who maybe are not used to being the leaders in the building, maybe you're not, maybe you're the counselor or lead teacher or something, and it's quite a challenge to try to pull multiple people in the building together to accomplish such a goal. Please feel free to reach out to me. I have several different strategies that other school districts have used, several different ways that individuals have recruited buy-in from the school. But the one thing that I will say is that, always remember that it's better to go, if you want to go fast, go alone. So if you're in a rush to get ICAP together, then, and you want to take it on by yourself, great. But if you want to go far, go together. And that means that there's going to have to be some time to spend on creating your roles and responsibilities. And so, yes, it may not look like, students are taking their assessments yet, and maybe we're just not there yet. And I need those students to hurry up and create or complete their ICAP. Remember, they have all year as freshmen to do those requirements that I just mentioned before. But if we don't want to run out of steam, if you don't want to be overworked, if you don't want to be the only person that is implementing this thing by yourself, then spend the time on putting together your team and assembling those roles and responsibilities. And if you have questions for that, and if you're struggling with that, please reach out to me. I do have some strategies, and we can talk one-on-one or do a phone conversation. I'm happy to do a just kind of a one-on-one conversation with you. If you just want to have a meeting with me via phone, I'm happy to do that. If we need to put a team together just via webinar with just your district to have a conversation about that, we can do that as well. Just let me know. But I will say that visiting with several districts around the state, this is probably the most important piece of implementing ICAP school-wide, because it is going to take everybody to do so. So I want to talk a little bit about the different ways that a student could accomplish those pieces of ICAP. And so the first piece here is a pre-apprenticeship. So I have the definition here, but I also have an example of what one school district is doing to offer pre-apprenticeship. So pre-apprenticeships are programs that really help students match or master specific skills. So a pre-apprenticeship doesn't have to just be something that is labor. It could also be technical. So there are pre-apprenticeships that exist with Dell Computers, and they're working with school districts in the Oklahoma City area. It's really just to help a student get that particular skill so that they can go into the workforce and not be expert level, but know enough to complete a particular job or task. Pre-apprenticeships are called pre because a typical apprenticeship program requires that a student finishes their high school education. And so they are pre-apprenticeship because the students are starting that process. They can be paid or unpaid. It really just depends upon your relationship. But it is different from what we would consider an internship, in that majority of our internships are more exploratory for students. So they may intern for a company that's really rotating around that particular industry and learning several different skills, whereas an apprenticeship may focus on one singular skill, if that makes sense. And so if you want to, you can take a look here. I'm going to try to print here. I hope you guys can see it. Let me know if you can't. But this is Broken Arrow Public Schools, and they are working with Mullen Plumbing, and they were able to put together paid internship opportunities for their students. They have some information on what the students' days look like. So students are able to participate as juniors or seniors. They receive specialized training, and it does go into a little bit more detail of what their particular day looks like. So if you're interested in kind of learning a little bit about that, I would encourage you to either reach out or let them know. So internship, this is something that we've probably spoken about in more detail because it is, of course, connected to your post-secondary indicator. And so internships are typically a semester or break commitment, could be with an employer. And internships are great for students, of course, who want to gain work in an organization. They can be paid or unpaid. And I won't go into greater detail because I don't want to read it word for word, but if you are interested in taking a look at what some districts have been able to do to put it together, there is Lawton Public Schools. I did include their example. When we get a little bit later in the presentation, I will show you the web page where we have several other internship programs from other districts that are different sizes and different locations throughout the state. Job shadow experience. So of course, a job shadow experience is something that allows a student to explore a specific career by connecting or following with a different employee in that particular industry. And so it's a little bit more detailed or aggressive than just a field trip. So a field trip might be sort of just kind of a guided tour for a group of students. A job shadow experience really allows for a student to learn what the day-to-day looks like in that particular career. And of course, for all of these opportunities to meet a student's ICAP requirement, is these opportunities must be connected in some way, shape, or form to the student's career goal. And so when a student has taken an assessment and they have learned that I'm very interested in being a veterinarian or somewhere in animal science, the goal is that that student will have an opportunity to either perform a pre-apprenticeship, an internship, or a job shadow experience in some sort of animal health science field. So whether it be a veterinarian's office, or it could be a particular shelter clinic of some sort, something that allows for a student to learn the day-to-day or be exposed in that workplace environment. And that's really just to allow students to go from just goal setting or goal speaking, I suppose, to taking steps to accomplish that goal. And so instead of just, saying, I want to be a veterinarian and that's it, and then we go on to college and then we wait until about junior, senior year, we do a clinical and we find out that's not what we want to do. We want students to have that experience in high school beforehand, to allow them to get out there and help solidify those plans, or if they need to redirect, they can do so. So service learning, I separated this because I did want to give a little bit of time to discuss this here. So we do have a definition here for service learning, and I did include a link here to Union High School. They have a pretty robust service learning program as well for their students. But there are several ways that a student can, participate or as a group or on their own. And so thinking about examples of which there may be projects that you have at your school that students express an interest in, or that is somewhat connected to their career. So we could think about a student who wants to go into nonprofit organizing a coat drive or a blood drive of some sort, or a student who is very much interested in engineering, focusing on as a group to address some sort of building problem, or writing up plans, or working with, a construction company you're working with, or, submitting some ideas for updating the school, or, just things like that, that students can do that benefit the community or their school around them. And so that does give students an opportunity to work together as a group to set a goal and accomplish that. To set target dates and to be held accountable for a very visible project. And so just allows for students to get really those soft skills and professional skills that will be very important to them as they move on into their adult lives. So I wanted to stop here and show you all a couple of resources that have been added to our website. And so I'll click here, and please let me know if you're not able to see this. And so this is available on our okedge.com website. And so what you will do is you will come to okedge.com and you would click on business and community, which is where I clicked, and it takes you here and you have a couple of icons to choose from. And so I'm going to start here with business and education partnership guides. Click there. There we go. And so right here you have several resources for putting together relationships or organizations or projects with business leaders around you. And so we get a lot of questions about, how do I reach out to business and let them know that we're available and that we have students and that they're interested in interning. And so we have several different resources here, one of which being an engagement letter. And so this is let's see, I'm going to click this here. And I believe they have uploaded this in Word document to make it easier for you guys to download and manipulate as you see fit. And you're welcome to do that. Any of the resources that are available on this website is free for you to have. And so here is an example of a partnership agreement. And so if you are, interested and choosing an organization that you want to partner with in terms of maybe an internship, or maybe they commit to participating in a virtual internship, or a reoccurring speaking engagement, or a partnership lunch and learn where they only provide food or pizza for the kids who are interested in banking. And so, a bank comes out and commits to doing something like that for your students. And so you have a space for both your information and their information, project or partnership start date. And of course here, so you can have volunteers, mentors, speakers, estimated number of hours and those things as well. So it just allows for you to do that. Right here, they have put together just a couple of examples. You don't have to use these. There is a space for other, but it allows for you to be able to choose which way that this particular partnership applies. And so, a career fair, parent and family engagement, of course, school advisory boards. I mean, anything that you could think of just allows for you to be able to do that. And so, it's not a very overwhelming document. I think it's very well done. Our executive director for work-based learning and industry engagement, Chelsea Hunt, has put a lot of these resources together. And like I said, she put them in such a way that they are literally pour water and stir. And so if you are interested in putting something like that together, I encourage you to do so. Here is a partnership letter. And so again, a space for you to put your information here, and then some language, and I mean, already done for you. And so again, very much pour water and stir. And of course, you are welcome to any of these resources here. And so we have everything from those partnership letters to how do we make sure that a student who went out to a job shadow experience enjoyed it or actually learned something. Here's a work sample reflection sheet. And so you have that available as well. Okay, so first question is from Sandra Powell. Do we know how we will be documenting these for evidence to show specific students have completed these activities? So great question. In our last presentation, and I'm sorry, this is solely about work-based learning, but in our last presentation, I'm happy to reach out to you, Sandra, is we were able to show the online tools. And using those online tools, each tool, OK College Start or OK Career Guide, has a space for students to provide a reflection of their activity, as well as the date that they participated in those activities. And so they put their reflections there. And so while these are papered reflections, those are available if you want those for yourself. But as far as the online tool, there is already a space for a student to be able to add those also. But we wanted to make sure that there were papered versions also, in case you all wanted to do this for a class. We had a lot of people that offer a career readiness course, or they want students to be able to write down the reflections. They either want them to share those with their employers, their partners, or their parents, or something for that matter, or especially for our instructors, our teachers who want to provide a unit for career exploration in their courses, that they needed to have something to grade and they needed to have something available. So I believe that is why a lot of these resources are available. However, that is a good question. Students are able to show documentation using any of those online tools, OK College Start and OK Career Guide. Now, for those that are new, I will reference OK College Start and OK Career Guide quite a bit, because those are the two free online tools that are offered to our students. You may have another tool that your district is using. I can't speak to those because I'm not familiar with those, but if you do have any questions about any other online tools that you're using, please do let me know, and I'm happy to reach out. Okay. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about some of the other resources that we have available. I'm going to go to this website here, and you guys are going to get a, I'm so sorry, I went to an older page. Guys are going to get a follow-up email as always. And so again, this is our website, okedge.com. Here are our monthly ICAP check-in. So every single time that I finish a session, I will add the recorded version here to this website. So when we finish today, I will add the recorded version here. So if for those that have questions about the tool, you are welcome to take a look at our September recording, and I have the details there as well. Okay. Also, we are excited that we have added one more piece here, and these are our ICAP toolkits. And so what we've done is we've put together 3 distinct ICAP toolkits, one of which being the all-encompassing ICAP toolkit that is about 37 or 38 pages. I say that this is best for those districts who have an idea of what they want to do for implementing ICAP. They just want to know, just tell me what the requirements are, and then me and my district are going to go for it. And we don't really need a lot of technical assistance at this point. And so what we've done is we've provided several resources for ICAP, attempted to answer any questions currently or future that might pop up about ICAP. And so this was written by our counselors throughout the state. They actually created and put this together. And so I'm extremely grateful for all of their hard work. And so everything that you would like to know about ICAP is here in this ICAP toolkit. So if you are a district who we want to go for it and we want to do this ourselves, then I suggest using the ICAP toolkit and starting there. If you're a district who, for years, you've been doing college and career readiness activities sort of at random, not really a structure or a framework, but you have the typical career fair in the spring, and you have a FAFSA or financial aid night in the fall, and so you do several things already. And so you're just looking for some framework ideas to take all the activities that we're already doing and put it in a model or framework that we can be sure is going to meet the ICAP requirements. And so what we have done is, I mentioned earlier, we piloted the ICAP process with about 74 school districts, 134 sites, and we did several surveys with them over the last couple of years. And what we found were 3 common themes for how they chose to implement ICAP. And we named those themes cleverly option A, B, or C. So what you are seeing are the most common ICAP implementation themes from all of our pilot school districts. And so if you're interested in option A, we have some examples and some information about how it would work and who this would work for. And so we say this may be optimal for districts who are already implementing a career development program, but they may be interested in structure. So they would use your online tools, and you would start to take some ideas, really just making sure that the students are hitting these 2 learning objectives so that they are reaching awareness, or whatever activities that we're doing, we're meeting these different stages here. And so, of course, taking what you're already doing in your district and then also adding or merging together, I suppose, some of the ICAP requirements that we already offer, and creating a new framework for yourself. And so that's what we mean by using some of these models here. And so you'll have models A, B, and then you will also have model C. Okay. And then lastly, these are our ICAP activity toolkits. And so these are optimal for districts who may be extremely new to ICAP, and I have no idea that ICAP was a thing, or maybe I'm new to the position, or maybe you're just not as far along in the planning as you would have wanted to be. And so we have put together just monthly activity guides that allow you to walk through the ICAP experience. And so as long as I do this in September, then I've done my ICAP things for the month. And then we go month to month to month. And so we did make sure that we put in some information that talks about just college and career readiness or career development as a state. It's important to note that in Oklahoma, according to our Employee Security Commission, our youth from 16 to 19 years of age, and those are our 16, 19 years of age that are not enrolled in any type of school, so not your high school students, but those that are not in high school, have an unemployment rate of 11.5%. The state unemployment rate for all ages is only 3.2. And so if we are to think about ICAP or K-12 as really kind of the last stop for a lot of those students who may be thinking of leaving school or wanting to get into the workforce and are just itching to kind of get out there, this is really kind of our opportunity to keep them engaged. And so I wanted to make sure that information was available. This is good information, by the way, if you are thinking about ways to engage your business partners. Share this with them, because I think this is really important for them to be able to see that there is value and there is so much importance for them connecting with the youth right now so that we can avoid this barrier here. So this is for the month of September. So of course we talk about the theme for September is answering the question, how do I want to engage the world? And so that is typically where students would take their assessments and kind of learn about themselves. And so they would, during the month of September, go online, create their profiles on either, your OK College Start or OK Career Guide here, talked a little bit about the examples of what they would do. And then we also have an opportunity for you to connect with families. And so here is a sample family connection letter. So explaining to them, and again, I believe they put this in a Word document as well. Let's see if that'll pull up. There we go. And so it has some information for the parents. And so again, you can put in your information here in the X's. It explains the students are going to be doing some monthly activities. It also allows for parents to be able to participate as well. And so we have some resources that are available within our state for parents who are interested in furthering their education. So it can be good, of course, when you think about a two-generation approach, for you to be able to serve students with college and career readiness activities as well as the parents. And so we know that when you're serving the entire family, it means nothing but great things for the students. It allows for the student and the family to remain engaged. Not that saying that you have to be an expert on any of the things that are available to the parents. We have provided those resources available for you all. But we know that several of our parents are in need of some of these resources as well. And unless they are in school themselves or just know where to look, these resources aren't made available to them. And so we want to make sure that they do know that those options exist, that there is a program that allows for adults to be able to complete their college degree at a very reasonable rate for them and allow them to apply for financial aid should they qualify. And they are given help for that as well as a career and academic advisor. But then we also know our technology centers have amazing programs for our adult completion with flexible hours for parents to be able to do that if they are working as well. And so I think that is really great to share with your parents as well as with your students as well. So we do have that sample letter. We also have that community engagement letter also. And then, of course, as your students are doing these activities, share them on Facebook, share them on Twitter so that your other peers and other districts are able to see what you all are doing and be able to learn from you guys as well. And so that's an example of what you will see from all of these monthly activity guides here. We go all the way from September all the way to May. Now, even though we are in the month of October, almost November, if you have not done, if you want to go through this particular activity, go ahead and start with September. That's really just telling the students to take their assessments so that they have those scores, set their career goals, and then, of course, put their grades in their particular online tool. And so each of the online tool has a space for that. It's literally a timeline where students just click and put in their information. So for those that already have those online tools, if you've already done those things in September, then go ahead and skip ahead to October, November. And so they have pretty simple instructions. Each of these tiny toolkits are no more than a page front and back, so made very, very easy for you to follow those directions. And as long as you go through all of this process, you'll know that you are meeting your students' ICAP requirements as well. These tools are also made to roll this out to your entire school. So we know that there are several districts that are starting the ICAP process much earlier than high school, some in middle school, and some of them in elementary school as well. So myself, I am a parent at Shawnee Public Schools, and so my 7-year-old is starting his ICAP process right now on the Career or Cooter Galaxy tool, so from OK Career Guide. And really cool tool. He really enjoyed it, and it is very age appropriate. He really enjoyed it. And so if you are a district and you're interested in maybe doing something like that, it's not, I don't believe that it's something that he's doing every day or at keeping up. It's just really a couple of small units in his particular class. And that's how they're sort of approaching that. So if that's what you would like to do, I encourage you to reach out for that as well. So of course, free and very easy to use also. So I think we have another question. I'm going to pause here. How will the state access? Okay, good question. So as far as, and I'm sorry, we did address it in our September meeting, but I'll go ahead and address that here. Your regional accreditation officers will include ICAP as part of their visit checks. So your RAO will be checking your online tool, and that is how they will be able to make sure that students are meeting their ICAP requirements. And so if you have questions specifically about your checks, please reach out to your regional accreditation officer. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back over here. And I do want to make sure that, this is available. We have several career curriculum lessons. So if you have teachers, again, who, maybe they're just having trouble trying to figure out where they fit into this whole ICAP piece here. We have career curriculum that has actually been provided to us by Oklahoma Department of Career Technology, and it goes all the way down to elementary school. Very helpful curriculum, and it is all right here. You're welcome to click. It will take you right to the website. I'll click on middle school here. Okay. And so here are lessons here. It lets you know the grades that are appropriate. You can click on those, and they have a lesson available. I believe it's in Word as well, so that you can easily manipulate it or update it if you choose to do so. Click on that, open it. Go. There we go. So talks a little bit about stress and peer pressure. And as you can see, most of them are about 1 page. If they are 2 pages, it's really short, 1 page front and back. So not made to be overwhelming. It's just something really quick. And if a teacher is looking for something to, provide maybe even a writing prompt or a project or just kind of a quick unit, career unit, those are available to them as well. Again, if you have any questions about any of your online tools, or maybe you're just now getting on your online tools, we do have both of those links available here. So that's OK College Start and OK Career Guide as well. So 2 of those tools there. Again, those are the 2 free online tools that we offer in Oklahoma. Again, but if your district is interested in using something else, you are welcome to do so as well. Okay. All right. One more piece here, if you haven't had a chance yet, our graduation checklists have been updated. And so that is available, I believe, here. I'm going to click on it. Hopefully it'll pull up. Yes. And it is fillable. And so if you've not had a chance yet to take a look at that, I suggest definitely going to that website and taking a look for your 9th graders. So there is space for students to include those pieces as well. So your assessments, any endorsements that they have. I think they've just moved a few things around, and they of course added a section for ICAP as well. If you have questions about this, I'm happy to include the contact information for our Executive Director for Academic Counseling. Her name is Petra Woodard, and she is excellent, and she gets to your questions very, very quickly via email, or she tries her best to give you a phone call. She also put a link here to the subject code. So if you are looking for that or updated list, she did provide that to you all as well. So again, I'm going to take you back to where you can find that. And so if you click on educators, you'll see the icons here. And so here were the toolkits, but then here, right here at the bottom right, are your graduation checklists. And so if you're interested in getting an updated copy of that, definitely click here and it will take you right to it, all of your graduation checklists that you need. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna stop here for questions. If you, for those, if you have to run to class, and I did great on my time, because I know that you guys are busy and probably doing 3 different jobs as you're even listening to the webinar, but because you registered and because you attended, I do have your email address. What I will do is I will follow up immediately following our visit today, and I will share with you all the materials that we talked about today. It will be in the form of a newsletter. If you have not signed up for our newsletter, you can click the link at the bottom to subscribe, and then you will receive all the newsletters like this moving forward. Please feel free to share the newsletter with anybody who was not able to attend today, or others that you think may benefit. I have sent out the newsletter. I believe most of your principals have received the newsletter through our admin here at the State Department. So they've received some information about what we talked about today, as well as some recordings of our webinars as well. So if they forward it to you, you might get it twice. So I apologize, but wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to take a look at it as well. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yes, and if you haven't had a chance, yes, to visit the website, please do. And this is particularly new. The website just launched in, I believe, like January. So it hasn't, technically been up for a full year yet. And of course, we are adding things every single day. So every time that we finish more materials, so like you saw, for those who have even visited the website, I encourage you to go back because we've added several business resources. And a lot of these resources are provided to us from districts. So as districts do something really great, and it's been very successful, we are able to make sure that that's available on our website as well as our Facebook page. So our Facebook page is updated daily. So we do provide, the most up-to-date information we can, and, all of the changes that are going to happen with ACT tests, from the national ACT tests, and anything from FAFSA updates and things like that, for sure. Perfect. Oh, okay. Absolutely. So have a question about the graduation checklist. So when you go to okedge.com, click on educators, and then right down here on graduation checklists, it's going to take you to our grad checklist page, and it should see new right here. And you'll click that, and it should, there we go, pull up a fillable PDF version. And so each of the students will have one of those. So very similar to what you've done in the past. The only thing that's different is they have added a section for ICAP. And again, if you have questions about this graduation checklist, Petra Woodard, our Executive Director for Academic Counseling, and I'm going to try my best to type her name in here so you guys can capture that. And her email, and I think that is it. There we go. And in one more space, and they have just updated this. If you'll go to the About and then the Office of College and Career Readiness, then you'll find all of our information here. And so myself, right here, Executive Director of College and Career Readiness, Chelsea Hunt, our Executive Director of Work-Based Learning and Industry Engagement, and then Petra Woodard, our Executive Director of Academic Counseling there. So if you are interested in getting any of our information, and I'm just gonna copy and paste that over here for those who need it right away. There you are. Here's all of our contact information. Of course, I answered any questions related to ICAP implementation, ICAP guidance, those things as well. If you are interested in learning about perhaps your graduation checklists or any academic questions, Petra Woodard is your contact. And if you have any questions about internships, job shadow, in-service learning, or anything like that, Chelsea Hunt is your contact for that as well. So I want to make sure everybody has that information also. Okay, great. I'll make sure to. There we go. All right. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, again, you guys are going to receive an email from me with all of the pieces that we talked about today. And then you'll also receive a recording of today's webinar. So feel free to share that with any of your peers that weren't able to be with us today. And again, as I said before, you are welcome to anything on our website. You guys are free to use those things. Many of you have. If you have not already, I would certainly encourage adding ICAP information to your school websites also. I think that's really helpful to get the information out to parents, but also to businesses. A lot of our businesses are learning about ICAP and learning that it's available, and they're very curious to know which districts are implementing that. And of course, we explain everybody is, but it's just easier to be able to find that information as well. So if you haven't already, if it's just something simple as linking out to our website, you are welcome to do that. I'll show you just kind of a real trick. Here is our website that talks about college and career readiness. And then I believe we have some, oh gosh, where did I? We have some information about ICAP here. Really, I mean, you could link out to our website and be able to share all of that information. We have information for students and families as well. So lots of things. What can parents expect? What is ICAP planning for the future? So all of those things that are available. So you guys are welcome to use whatever you like. So okay, great. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all joining us. And again, if you have any questions, please give me a call.